Okay, Christoph, let's start at a very unusual place, or unusual for the Beer and Honey podcast. We don't tend to talk a lot about them, maybe wrongly so, but this week it's worth taking a closer look at our friends from Augsburg. They lost 2-1 at home to Darmstadt, the newly promoted Darmstadt, who are going quite a little bit better than people had feared or anticipated. But for Enno Maaßen of Augsburg, it might well have been the last game as manager in charge. As we record, he's still the Augsburg manager on Monday morning, but by the time you listen to this, or in the evening, he might no longer be. What's going on at Augsburg?
Yeah, as you said, they lost against Darmstadt. That's an important point. They they played badly, and so Darmstadt deserved to win. So it wasn't a freak result or something like that. And if you look at the overall situation in Augsburg, I think when they sit down and talk about the situation, as you said, there is a big chance that Enrico Maaßen will be released of his duties. There was something that Raphael, the Dutch defender, said after the game. He said, well, we have a pretty unexperienced squad and an unexperienced coach, hinting that maybe Enrico Maaßen in the second season at Augsburg still is not fully in charge of the situation, and they have been trying, or he has been trying to find a way for Augsburg to play that works. So for example, so in general, he wanted to have more possession for the team, play better football, and so on. And but then again, in some games, he gave the ball to the opposing team. One example was their 2-2 draw against Bochum, where they played on a counter. And but whatever he tried to do, it didn't properly work. And so Augsburg are in a bad situation. And if you look back at the last season, only because Stuttgart at that time, on the last day of the season, only managed a 1-1 draw against Hoffenheim. They had to play in the relegation, and normally, or if they had won, Augsburg would have to play in the relegation games against Hamburg. So already last season was very disappointing, also when we have in mind that they invested some money due to the help of US investor Blitzer, who put some money into the club. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a new coach at Augsburg.
Yeah, the numbers are not good. Maaßen has the worst points average in 30 years as an Augsburg coach. They've only won 2 of their last 19 competitive games. Yeah, I mean, once a club openly talk about the manager and openly talk about the fact that they're talking about him, things tend to go only in one direction. Not looking good. Any ideas who they might pick if he were to go?
Actually, not. I mean, there are some usual candidates like Sandro Schwarz, for example.
Peter Neururer.
Peter Neururer Some of our older listeners might have heard the name. He was the typical Feuerwehrmann but that's long ago. I don't know how long, 10 years or so, when it was the last time when
Longer,
Peter
15, I would say.
when he was in charge. Peter Neururer, always very entertaining, sometimes very successful as a Feuerwehrmann. But I think we won't see him in Augsburg.